What's up, everybody? This is Jay Short, aka Head Honcho, and I am back with episode 3 of the Head Honcho Sports Podcast here on YouTube. In this episode, we're going to be talking about last night's game between the Lakers and the Grizzlies. There's a lot of takeaways from that game. I mainly want to talk about Ja Morant's performance, and I want to talk about, Carmelo Anthony, his road to get here. A couple years ago, people were saying, casuals, I call them, they were saying, Carmelo couldn't play, he's supposed to retire and stuff like that. So, I just really want to talk about that and dive deep into that because, that's just nonsense, saying Carmelo Anthony can't play basketball anymore. That's nonsense. So I want to talk about that. I'll start with, the Grizzlies and Ja Morant's performance. Last night, they lost. The Grizzlies lost 118-121 against the Los Angeles Lakers. Steven Adams, he had 16 points, 14 rebounds, and Ja Morant had 40 points and 10 assists. So with that, the Grizzlies are following Ja's lead. It's kind of crazy to see that because, Ja Morant's only 22 years old, but he's a fiery young guard, and he wants to win. He wants to be successful. And all the Grizzlies, they're following his lead, and that's great to see from a young guy. But it's also a little bit, it's kind of like, oh man, this guy's 22 and he's leading a team, it's crazy. But, like I said, he has the talent to do it. And, last night the Lakers really couldn't do anything with him. He had 40 points and 10 assists. When a guy puts up those kind of numbers, the ball is really in his hands a lot, throughout the entire game. So, the Lakers didn't really have an answer for him, and luckily he missed a game-tying free throw last night. And, he was, you could see it on the sideline, he was a little bit upset and, all right, that's on me, guy. That's my fault. And that's understandable, you want that from your leader. You don't want your leader to pout and be like, oh my gosh, I just missed a free throw. You want to be like, okay, that's not going to happen again. This one's on me. I got y'all, and, like I said, he did that, he posted on Twitter a couple of tweets, said he was going to bounce back, and stuff like that. So, I was happy to see that from him, and I knew he wasn't that kind of guy anyway. I knew he wasn't that kind of guy, pout and sulk and stuff like that. But, talking about his game overall, Ja is a really quick guard. He's a really quick, explosive guard. And I was watching an interview with Paul George, and Paul George compared Ja Morant to Derrick Rose, because he also stated that, trying to guard him is like trying to guard Derrick Rose back in, 2011 in his Bulls days, because they were just so quick. They're quick guards. Their first step is lethal. Once they get that first step, that quick crossover, they're basically at the rim already. And, they both have, that leaping ability. Ja Morant can jump out of the gym, no question. So, with that, it's just hard to defend him because, like I said, he's just so quick, and with other guards, it's kind of like no contest because, what are you going to do, and now people are sagging off of him and stuff like that because, his 3-point shot isn't really consistent enough to get respected. And I feel like once that part comes in his game, it's going to get scary for the league. It's going to be almost impossible to guard him because what are you going to do? You're going to sag off and have him hit a three, or you're going to just be in his grill and, have him drive past you and finish at the rim. He's a great finisher. Like I said, he can jump out of the gym, and he had this crazy up and under layup between Kent Bazemore and Anthony Davis, and that was the highlight of the game, So I believe once Ja Morant makes that next step in his game, I know he's going to continue to work on it summer after summer after summer, But once he works on that part of his game, it's going to be real scary for the league, and they don't, a lot of GMs and a lot of fans consider this kind of Grizzly team a rebuild team, so to speak. But the Grizzlies don't see it that way, especially Ja Morant. He doesn't really see a rebuild. He sees that, we can compete every night against these top teams, And last year, you saw it with, Utah. And they were the eighth seed, and Utah was the first seed, and they really, gave them a run for their money, especially, they got a game against them on the road. So, with that being said, it's like once Ja's game comes together as a whole, it's going to get really scary for the league. And moving to the Lakers, Carmelo Anthony, he moved to 9th on the all-time scoring list, and, casuals really wrote him off. I call them casuals. Like I said, casuals really wrote him off because he wasn't putting up numbers. He didn't really fit the quote unquote NBA style today. And, you see him now. Last night he had 28 points. He went 6 for 8 from 3, and he moved to 9th on the all-time scoring list. Now, what can you say? He's top 10 in scoring. And what can you say? He can still put up buckets. He's still a great player. And he's going to be a key piece to this Lakers team, once they really get going, once they really find their identity, because he can still spot up, he can still get to his spots, one dribble pull-ups, pump fakes and stuff like that. So, he still has the ability to go to the rim. So, like I said, once this Laker team gets going, it's going to be real tough to, be focused on all these guys on the floor, Russell Westbrook, Carmelo Anthony, LeBron James, Anthony Davis. It's going to be tough to, and Dwight Howard as well. And it's going to be tough to, focus on all those guys at one time, because they all can score, they all can get you one quick bucket or, a couple of quick buckets, so like I said, Casuals really said that he should have retired a couple years ago, he should not be in the league, he's posting workout videos and stuff like that. And Casuals were saying, that's not the NBA, you're playing in open gym and, stuff like that. And that's really crazy because he's an all-time great, one of the best offensive talents we've ever seen. And that's crazy to see that, Carmelo Anthony is getting slighted like that. He's Carmelo Anthony, and it's really crazy to see that. But like I said, once this Laker team gets going, he's going to be a really key piece to what they do. So, with that being said, this is the end of episode 3 of the Head Honcho Sports Podcast here on YouTube. Like, comment, subscribe, turn on those post notifications. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Twitter. I'll put the links in the description below. Follow my podcast pages on Instagram and Twitter. I'll put those links in the description below. So I'll see you guys in episode 4.